Our next candidate is Mr. Stacy Higa, County Councilman from the 4th Council District in Hilo. Stacy, thank
Good
you
evening,
for
Ken.
coming to the table.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, appreciate it. First of all, give you the customary opening question. Why do you want to be mayor?
You know, that's a question that's been asked of me so many times, and I'm going to just tell you, it comes from the heart that I've worked the last 4 years on a county council. I've educated myself on what needs to be done, and truthfully, I've been frustrated. As even chairman of the council, I could not effect and impact the positive changes that I wanted to see happen, even from the chairmanship of the county council. And that's one of the reasons why I've decided to give up what I thought would be a pretty sure seat to continue in my role as a council member. But it came down to what I really wanted to do for this community. And I just felt that I just been frustrated that the mayor is the only position that can really effect the types of changes that need to be done. And that's why I've made the decision to run for mayor.
One of the changes from being a councilman to being a mayor would be the different types of powers that you have available to you. In this sense, in the mayoral position, it would be staffing and decisions on those types of things. Can you give us some idea of the type of people that you would hire, or sort of some sort of guiding principle you would have into how you would staff the county government?
Well, first of all, I think the type of people that I would actually hire would have to be the glass is always half full, have to be can-do, get-it-done type people. That's my attitude. I hate studying things to death. You know, I know we have to go through certain types of things, but again, since I've been on the council, I've seen how just the frustration of things moving so slowly. Not my style. My style is to actually figure out what the problem is, identify the best solution possible, and then make it happen. You know, I've said this before. For every 3 things that you solve on a county government level, 3 problems that you actually solve, while you're solving those 3, 10 more are popping up on the right side. So it's a never-ending thing about trying to solve problems. So the type of people that I would bring in are people who are like-minded like me, that will actually work to get things done. And they have to have the philosophy, though. And the philosophy is this, that customer service, I come from the business sector, so customer service is very, very important. That you have to make sure that you service the customer well, which is the public, and you have to remember that you work for them. They don't work for you. And I've seen, some of that throughout my 4 years on the council, that sometimes government workers, county workers forget that the general public is their boss. And that's the kind of business style, that's the type of leadership style I want to bring into county government. It's again, a CEO type thing where the shareholders are the ultimate people and run the company, which is the shareholders, people of the county of Hawaii. So that's the kind of people I'm going to look for. And of course, they have to be qualified, right? They have all the cues that's going to make it happen. But personality-wise, that's the type of people I want.
Well, one of the first big issues that you can expect to tackle if you become the next mayor is solid waste management, and particularly as it pertains to the East Hawaii landfill, which is on its, I forget how many extensions now, but those are eventually going to run out. So what sort of plans do you have for managing the trash that is produced in East Hawaii, and is waste to energy something that you believe has got to be part of the solution?
Absolutely. I said this. Recycling is probably the right thing to do, okay? But it has to be economically feasible for us to do it. That's the trade-off that the next mayor, the next CEO of our county will have to make. He has to be able to say, or he or she will have to say, what's culturally correct and what's economically correct. You have to balance that. So when you take those things and look at it from a big picture perspective, waste to energy definitely jumps to the front. Because again, when you go and study what recycling has done, even in San Francisco, where they have probably the best recycling numbers in the country, at close to 50%. But that took a long time, and San Francisco's up there, in County of Hawaii, we're lucky we're at 20 or 30%. So I think we need to, the analogy I use is this. I think county government has been trying to hit home runs. We've been swinging for the fence, trying to find that one hit, that one home run that's going to cure our solid waste. I think we got to start to hit some singles first, hit some singles and doubles, take some pitches. And the way I would do that is I would upgrade all the transfer stations to make sure that to make recycling economically feasible, you need to make it easy to recycle. So you need to have people actually go there and say, I can segregate my bottles, my cans, my cardboard, my paper, my green waste, et cetera, et cetera. Make it easy for them to do that at the transfer station. So upgrade the transfer stations. Secondly, look at the waste stream and figure out what quick wins you could do. Like, for example, I just got back from Honolulu. I looked at a plant that's looking to burn rubber and construction material, wood, biomass. So again, that could be segregated out of our waste stream because again, we're having a tremendous tire problem on our island. So again, those are the singles I'm talking about trying to do, and then composting through the green waste, etc. Those are the ways I think when you segregate that, then all of a sudden you're going to get down to just what I always say, the pilau stuff, the things that you either got to put into the landfill or you're going to put through this incinerator or some type of waste to energy. But we have to make that commitment. We need to clearly say waste to energy is a renewable energy resource, and we need to embrace that.
Okay. One real quick follow-up. I know that you were one of the members of the council who voted to proceed with the EAS on the wheelabrator proposal, and that ended up being voted down. How serious a setback was that we didn't go and proceed and get the information that we essentially had already paid for?
It's a tremendous setback because, again, as a District 4 representative, I wanted that assessment done because I would have gotten answers for Kilkaha and Panaeva on what the impacts of waste energy in this area would have been. And it would be invaluable to decide and to work with the planning and everybody to see, is this the most suitable place to actually put a waste to energy plant? I mean, those are the things that we spent $1.2 or $1.5 million and we never got that answer. Like I said on the council floor, we ran a 100-yard dash and we stopped at the 95-yard mark and just said, I quit, turn around, walk back. Never went past the finish line. So it was a tremendous setback.
There's a number of different infrastructure and traffic-related problems that are plaguing the people who live down in Puna. What type of changes would you like to make to help them out a little bit?
I think that has to be a multi-pronged attack. When you look at Puna, the key to Puna is shipment. Okay, they're the largest landowner in that area. They've been wanting to work with the county government. And I think when you look at the Puna concerns, it's all about a secondary road. So again, being on the county council, you try to figure out if you have to go condemn all these small little pieces of properties, try to get everybody to buy in. Oh, that's going to take forever. That's why it's very, very important that we worked with shipment to try to identify how we can get a secondary road at least get them into Paradise Park. And then you work with the Paradise Park Association, a huge block of lots. And then you work with them to figure out how we can use their access into Paradise Park. Because to me, when you look at Pahoa, you look at Puna, and you see Highway 130 that's going through there, the job is to try to figure out, gee, if I could take most of the people who live on the Makai side of the highway and have them go through an alternate route, gee, is that going to relieve the traffic congestion on the highway for the people of Pahoa, Orchidland, Ainaloa on the opposite side? Absolutely. So I think that's how I want to be forward-thinking, and I want to actually, but to achieve that, you got to bring shipping into the picture, and you have to work with them.
Let's talk a little bit about job creation and economic development. As mayor, what sort of policies would you advocate to, number one, create jobs in the short term that address current economic difficulties, and then in the long term to diversify our economic base so that we might be cushioned during future economic downturns?
If I'm elected mayor, I will actually figure out or try to convene people. We did it with the general plan. We're trying to do our planning, where we want our growth centers, where we want our population bases to be moved. We need to do the same type of economic planning on the county level. We need to actually identify where our agricultural lands truly are, and then we have to go and encourage and figure out whether it's through tax incentives or whether it's through county-sponsored programs like a possible agriculture co-op, that we be supportive of having people, 5-acre, 10-acre lots, encourage them and help them so that they can actually make a living farming and doing agriculture. That's the only way. It's all in mass, okay? So again, that's one area. Then you need to go out and identify your tourism industries, right? Let's face it, Kona side is the Gold Coast. They have the surf, they have the beaches, they have the weather. Hilo, on the other side, we have the volcano, we have Imiloa, we have a different type of economic or tourist base. We need to identify and support building those economic tourism bases. And by doing that, I sponsored, when I was chair of the council, from $50,000, giving Hawaii Island Visitors Bureau $50,000. That was their budget. When I became chair, I advocated and helped them to go to $500,000. It's not enough. Okay, to me, it's all about return on investment. If you want people to make money and you want your tourism to do well, you have to invest in tourism. I would figure out how to get them immediately, $1.5 million. Have them, again, we're the largest island in the state, and we have one of the smallest tourism budgets around. It's ludicrous to me. You know, you got Maui. Maui has $3 million budget, and here we are, poor Mr. Applegate is struggling with $500,000. So I would, you know, that's just, again, there's so many other things that I would go out and encourage. The mayor has to be the best salesperson for the entire island. We have to go out there, sell ourselves to big industry. We have, you know, Dells, we have the Allens, we have all these guys have houses, Schwab on the other side of the island. I would convene a roundtable of these high-powered people and ask them, help us. You know, I don't want to reinvent the wheel, man. Help me figure out what you guys can do to educate us on how we can diversify our economy. They're there on this side of the island, on the other side of the island. We just got to utilize them.
A Higa administration would follow on a Kim administration, and I'm wondering if there's any particular things that Mayor Kim has done that you would particularly like to continue, or anything that he's done that you think you would like to reverse.
Well, you know, that's a loaded question because, you know, I'll say this. Harry has done a tremendous job in being consistent in running the county. You know, everything is cyclical on our island. When you go back and you start analyzing the budgets and how our county government has been in the last 10, 12, 15 years, it's cyclical. And Mayor Yamashiro came in, tough times, economic, downturn, everything's bad. And then Mayor Kim came in a little bit, some of that left, and then he had a little bit better time. So I think the mayor did a good job in, again, trying to stabilize things coming from a real bad time. The next administration, though, for me, it's going to be about my thing. My one disagreement I have is about the size of our government. I think we've grown our government too big. And I think we need to recreate and re-energize our government to make it more efficient. You know, just adding bodies to the county roles hasn't made the county more efficient. And that's my thing. My thing is we need to make it more efficient using technology. So, you know, in an economic downturn like I think we're going to see, when you have a budget of $400 million and over half of it, $200+ million is for salaries, wages, and benefits. I'll ask people out there, when I walk house to house, they tell me, oh, Stacy, we're not getting the best bang for our dollar. So I think that would probably be my only thing that I want to do is make sure that we're not growing government to be excessive, and we need to make sure whatever we do have is as efficient as possible.
Can I have a follow-up on that, Ken?
Well, yeah, a $400 million budget is probably pretty big already. So if, in fact, you were elected mayor, would you be prepared to perhaps immediately right out of the gate do things like hiring freezes and maybe not fill positions when you have attrition that occurs at the end of the year?
Absolutely. And I definitely would put a freeze except for probably police and fire and safety personnel. But everybody else, I would actually go through a comprehensive review to make sure that, again, using technology, using new computerized systems to try to make people cross-train them, work with the unions to allow cross-training. Since I've been on the council, I've heard the one thing I don't like, not in my job description. I can't stand that. And I'm going to tell you right now, if I'm elected mayor, that's going to be the change that I would implement. Says, hey, we all work for the people. We need to cross-train. We need to be as efficient as possible.
Okay. Stacy Higa, thank you very much
Appreciate
for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Stacy Higa, candidate for mayor, currently a council member from the 4th Council District. And for those of you